All right, guys, how's it going? So I've been to the cafe this morning and I've reviewed today's Spanish football dailies for you. See what's in there regarding Liverpool, if anything. I can't even remember, to be honest with you. I don't think there's anything of major importance in this video. It'll come to me in a minute. I only had 2 coffees today, just the 2 coffees today. I mentioned this in my morning briefing. Now, remember, my morning briefings are now on my other YouTube channel. I don't put them on here anymore. YouTube.com/Duncan Oldham. YouTube only sends out 3 notifications in a 24-hour period, right? And I don't want to waste that notification in the morning. So they go on my other YouTube channel now, right? So on the other channel, in the briefing today, I spoke about, going to the cafe, my live stream on here today at 2 o'clock, what I've got planned for the weekend, etc., etc. So please go over there and check that out. If you can't remember the URL, in the video description of this video, you'll find the link. It's youtube.com/Duncan Oldham. Right, so I've been and reviewed the papers for you. I don't think, just looking at my notes here, there is one there is one thing specifically regarding a former Liverpool player, if you can call him that, and I'm going to tease you. I'm not going to tell you who it is. And there is also mention of Frankie de Jong as well, a player that's been linked with Liverpool recently. I need to speak to you about Barcelona and their finances. Luis Diaz, I'm thinking here. Also Alexander Isak as well. And Zubimendi. But if you're here, I keep an eye on these. At the moment, I'm really looking for stuff to do with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Real Madrid. If you've followed these videos for months and months and months and months, going right back to last year, you'll know that we've got a lot of information from these papers. We don't take what they say as gospel, just like we don't in the UK. But it's interesting to get the other angle, the other side of things. So I keep an eye on it for the Trent stuff. There's nothing in the any of the papers today about Trent Alexander-Arnold and Real Madrid. And there's no speculation about Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk. There's nothing about Mamardashvili or Luis Diaz. But we are going to touch on Barca, which is kind of linked to that, okay? So there's nothing really exciting in the video if you can't be asked. So Zubimendi's mystery absence raises eyebrows. Now, I was looking forward to watching Zubimendi in action against Manchester United last night. I mentioned it yesterday. I said, I'm not going to do a stream. I did do a stream. But I wanted to watch the game. I wanted to watch Zubimendi against, a Premier League club, if you like. But he was ruled out due to an illness. That's right. A last minute illness ruled him out. Now, I've said for weeks, right, if not the last couple of months, that something doesn't seem right with Zubimendi. He's not been playing well. He's been getting low ratings. He's played more outfield minutes than anybody else in the Real Sociedad team. There was an article about him in the Spanish press a couple of months ago, if you remember, saying about how he needs a rest. He's got fatigue. But I was saying that while suffering from fatigue, something just felt like it was off to me, because I remember when that article was published by the Mail saying that he's agreed to go to Arsenal. It was an exclusive. It was denied in Spain. He had this injury, had a knee injury, an ankle injury. There was serious doubts about whether he would play in a game, which is that week. And I think it was 2 days later, and he was there. It was like, oh, that's a bit weird. So it makes me wonder if he's getting injections or something like that. Earlier this week, my suspicions were confirmed when he was sent for a scan following reports that he was feeling some discomfort. And I think that had flared or surfaced or whatever in the Barcelona game around them. They mentioned earlier this week he was gone for a scan, which I think might have been on Monday. And they said that he would face a late fitness test for that game last night. And it could even be just before kickoff, like the very last minute. The newspapers here thought, if you remember in yesterday's video, they tipped him to play in that game. But suddenly, last night, he was ruled out with an illness, fever, I do believe they said. So let's see what we've got here. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So we know that, the speculation regarding his future, supposedly agreed to go to Arsenal. That's denied. Real Madrid are admirers, but the word from the Madrid-based media is that they have other areas they want to strengthen, but if they need a player of that profile, they would absolutely make a move for him. As for Manchester City, I don't see him going there to play second fiddle to Rodri, which he does with Spain on an international level. Liverpool, who knows, I'd be very surprised if we weren't interested in him still, if he is ready to make the switch to the Premier League. So I'm going to keep an eye on him, until his future's resolved. He took a 1-year lease on his current residence, if you remember. Well, that's something we learned from doing these reviews in the morning. And that expires in the summer. It doesn't really mean that he's going to leave, does it? Because you can renew a fucking lease. But, I think everyone thinks he's going to Arsenal. The British press thinks he's going to Arsenal. I think most people expect him to go to Arsenal. Until his future's resolved, I'm going to keep an eye on him. If you don't like hearing about Zubimendi, the clue is usually in the title of the video. So, personally, I'll be glad when his future's resolved. Unless he signs for us, you know what I'm saying? Because, that'd be a different thing. And, I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's any Liverpool fans out there that expect to see him come to Liverpool. Many Liverpool fans are defensive. I didn't want to play for us, so fuck him and all that. You know what I mean? My answer to that is, I wish there was more loyal players like that in the game. Wouldn't you like to see Trent doing that now, really struggling with leaving? Maybe he will. Maybe he'll do with Zubimendi. Zubimendi wanted to join Liverpool, but he wanted the blessing of his club. He didn't want to leave under a bad thing. And unless you understand what it's like for those players from that region playing for one of those clubs, you'll never understand it. You can't judge it on just like, a player playing for a random club. And you've got to look into the roots of that region and what it means to them to play with the club. I think he was with them since he was 6. He just wanted them to say, we want you to do well, go on. And he would have joined Liverpool. I get it if you're like, nah, fuck him, whatever. But we're going to keep an eye on him until his future's resolved anyway. So Marca published an article titled Zubimendi, the Great Absentee, with the sub-headline, the midfielder had recovered from a knock, only to go down with an illness. They wrote, he turned up at Zubimendi with a fever, that's their training facilities, and couldn't help his side in the first leg of the Europa League round of 16 tie. Old Trafford awaits him yet, so let's see what happens. I think the game finished 1-1. It was fucking boring. Terrible, terrible game, to be honest with you. Now, one thing I want to quickly mention to you, Roma versus Athletic Club delivers late drama. Athletic Club were in Europa League action at Roma last night. It's no connection to Liverpool here whatsoever other than me. I often have a small bet on the plus 2.5 markets in games, which basically means that I need there to be more than 2 goals in a game, and you win, right? But they call it plus 2.5. It means more than 2 goals combined, the scoreline combined, right? And the reason I like it is because if you're a neutral, you've got both teams playing for you. So when one's attacking, you're like, and then when it switches round, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't do less than 2.5 goals because you'd be a nervous fucking wreck. So anyway, I always do that, to be honest with you. And I turned the match off right at the very end. I was like, fuck, I'm not going to win that. And I woke up to a notification from Bet365 saying I'd won. Roma scored in the 93rd minute. So finally, it's fucking luck. Right, Las Palmas skipper backs Martinez ahead of the Betis clash. This is relevant. So the Las Palmas captain, Alex Suarez, says that the players have full confidence in the team's coach, Diego Martinez. He believes that the Galician coach is not playing for his job on Sunday when they travel to Real Betis. I mention this as Liverpool midfielder Stefan Bajčetić is on loan at the club and they're 4th from bottom in La Liga, joint on points with Mamardashvili's Valencia, who were 3rd from bottom and in the drop zone. So the reason I mention it is there's a bit of turmoil at that club. You've got a player out there on loan. He's in a relegation battle, and he's basically got a fight on his hands. And I just thought that you might be interested to know that. You might want to keep an eye on it. Now, we're going to talk about Barcelona now. And although this isn't specifically regarding Liverpool, you'll understand why I'm bringing it to your attention. So this is to do with Barcelona's finances, right? And due to their interest in Luis Diaz and also Alexander Isak, I'm going to touch on it, right? So Diaz for obvious reasons. But if you believe Liverpool are going to try and sign Isak, you need to know what's happening with clubs that could compete for his signature, right? Barcelona being one of them. Now, AS is reporting about Barcelona's financial state. All right. Now, Barcelona were in turmoil. They couldn't do anything. They tried to sign Diaz last summer, couldn't do it. A lot of financial problems. Those financial problems have been resolved, right? And it pisses me off when people come in here going, they can't do it anyway, they got no money. No, they went back to what's called the 1-1 rule in Spain, which means for every euro spent, you must make a euro, right? If you want to spend £100 million on Isak, then you've got to get 100 million in to pay that, right? And his contract on top. So if it was 30 million on top, 130 million in total, then you've got to get that 130 million in. Got an itchy nose. Don't worry, I don't do drugs, but my nose is itching. So the financial drama crisis has been resolved, right? What's happened to that screen? Have I got a screensaver on? It's a bit strange. I don't want that on the IP. Well, I can't show you my password. It's Liverpool. There we go. Hey, look who it is. Bajčetić. Okay, so the finances are resolved, right? They've regained La Liga's 1-1 financial fair play status, meaning they can spend what they earn, thanks to two major deals. A night kit renewal worth 120 million euros annually, which, if you remember last summer, they were trying to get it through to get Diaz, which runs until 2038, which totals around 1.7 billion euros. With a bonus. And then there was a sale, 5% of the new Camp Nou VIP box rights for at least 300 million euros. They showed La Liga an initial 58 million euro payment plus some night cash to secure that 1-1 rule. In other words, La Liga was satisfied that they'd sorted the shit out, right? However, this is new. There's a problem with something called Barca Vision, right? A media and tech venture they sold 49% of for 200 million euros. The buyer, Libero, hasn't paid, leaving La Liga waiting, right? So basically, La Liga is saying, where's the Wonga? You know, you need to put this in for your accounts, right? So Barcelona's saying, hang on a minute, we've sold it, right? 49% of it, we've just not had our money yet. And La Liga is saying, well, that's all very well and good, but you have to submit that in your accounts. Otherwise, you're in trouble again. So this could disrupt Barcelona's finances and jeopardise that 1-1 status, potentially restricting their transfer spending again in the summer. And they want Luis Diaz. They've also really like Alexander Isak. Absolutely. Everyone likes Alexander Isak, right? But what I'm saying is Barcelona, they would love to sign him. But even with this 1-1 rule, the reports here following the Deco, the sporting director's 6-page interview with Sport, if you remember, was, you know, they really like him, but realistically, like, that's a lot of money, all right, because of what Newcastle want. So then the second option, they were looking at Luis Diaz, more of a, realistic signing to strengthen that side of the team, but also Benjamin Sesko. Those are the three players that Barcelona are looking at, right? So if you're thinking about Luis Diaz going to Barcelona, or if Luis Diaz is hoping to go there, this could fuck his move again, all right? And also, you might have an interest in what their interest. You might have an interest in what they're planning to do with Isak. Can they go for Isak? If you want to see Isak at Liverpool, if you believe that could happen, then you want to make sure Barcelona can't bid for him, right? They're supposed to have had talks with the Isak camp at the end of 2024, and the feedback was, oh, he'd be up for going to you without a doubt. However, Barcelona never followed up. Now that's probably because of that, right? So if you're hopeful, if you're one of them people that thinks that we're really going to go and try and sign Isak, then you obviously want your rivals to miss out, which is why I'm telling you about this financial problem. So that's why I mention it, because of Diaz and Isak, and also Sesko, right? A player that I believe Liverpool are genuinely looking at the moment. So you can see why I brought this to your attention. Okay. The front page of Sport, which is the pro-Barcelona newspaper, as is Mundo Deportivo, and the opening pages are dedicated to Barcelona offering Frenkie de Jong a new 3-year contract. Now, some Liverpool fans, the ones that pay too much attention to the Twitter twats, believe that de Jong could be Anfield bound, as Liverpool were making attempts to sign him. That's what was being spread by the Twitter twats. Obviously, I dismissed that outright and said it's a load of nonsense, but some people believed it. So hopefully these developments will see that one put to bed, and DKB, all right? Don't knows best. Now, here we go. Are you ready for this one? This is a big one, this one. Hey, that's what she said. Arthur settles at Girona. Who remembers Arthur Melo? We spoke about him on here at the end of the last transfer window. The Juventus midfielder that joined us on loan, do you remember, during the 22-23 season? Well, he's on loan at Girona in La Liga now. He made a late switch there at the end of the winter transfer window. I think he signed for them on February 1st. God, I've got a good memory sometimes. Probably because I read it this morning. There's a headline in Sport, an article all about him. Believe it or not, Arthur Melo. I should have got it on the screen, shouldn't I? Arthur wants no distractions, is the headline. I'm going to read it to you word for word. It's as true that Girona made a significant financial push to sign Arthur Melo in the winter window as it is that Real Betis are still nursing a grudge over the Brazilian's failure to join them. On loan from Juventus until the end of the season, where he's under contract until the summer of 2027, the 28-year-old midfielder landed at Montilivi despite plenty of interest from the green and white territory. Now, though, he's fully focused on the team led by Michel. Loaned without a buy option, no surprises here. Well, don't know, maybe they would want to buy. Well, that's what this article's about. Sorry, ignore me. Arthur is putting in serious work to pile up minutes and carve out a spot in Michel's starting 11, having already clocked 21 minutes against Getafe, 34 against Real Madrid and 36 against Celta. Sport has learned that the Brazilian is loving life at Girona, where he settled in well with the fans, the squad, as Rafa Benitez would say, squad, for sure, and feels at home in the city. The sense is he's still adjusting to his new surroundings, so it's too early to talk about what's next. That's how, now if you saw how this, like this is, I'm going to tell you how this is spelled. Q-U-I-Q-U-E, Q-U-I-Q-U-E. That's the first name, and the surname is C-A-R-C-E-L. Q-U-I-Q-U-E. Now, and you take the piss out of me when I get my names wrong, right? Well, it's Kika Carcel. And he's the sporting director. And he said in a press conference, from my side and the gaffers, it's not impossible he could stay. The plan is to talk in the summer and maybe he could continue, but that'll hinge on his performances. The real issue will be his wages. They're pretty hefty. So before money talks, he's got to earn it on the pitch. Michel sees him as a pivot or second midfielder, a bit further from the box, a role he's played in past stints. The Madrid-born boss wants to tap into his ball control, his ability to drive forward and break lines, and his knack for keeping possession under pressure. He doesn't have another player like that in midfield. Bit by bit, Arthur's finding his match rhythm, and his first start could come against Espanyol on Monday, March the 10th at their ground. Girona can't afford to slip out of the European race and need to get back to winning ways to stay in the hunt. How's about that then? Right, finally, I saved the best to last. Barcelona ladies thrash Real Madrid in the Copa de la Reina. Not Copa del Rey, that's the King's Cup. Copa de la Reina, what do you reckon that means? The ladies team, Barcelona women if you like, Barcelona split asses, beat Real Madrid split asses 5-0 away from home yesterday in the Queen's Cup. Now don't you ever say that I don't take women's football seriously, because I just told you about that in Spain as well, not just in the UK. God, I'm good. How you doing? You all right? Right, so that's today's update for you. Do you realise it takes me fucking ages to do all that? Some cheeky fucker on here said, all you do is read the paper. Oh yeah, go on, you read that fucking paper then. Go on then, read 4 of the bastards from fucking start to finish. And try and look for anything to do with Liverpool. There might be an article about VVD, and then right in a little bit of teeny-weeny little text, in some weird language, it might say Trent Alexander-Arnold. It takes me fucking ages, I'd have you know. But I don't mind doing it. For those that thumbs up the video, that's right. If you appreciate my efforts, please thumbs up this video. Please drop me a comment if there's anything in this video. How can you not comment about Arthur Melo, man? Come on, guys. You're twisting, man. Anyway, so, and if you want to buy me a coffee, yeah? Or a beer. Now, I'm going for a beer this afternoon. I'm going for a drink with my mates this afternoon. Not seen them for ages. So I'm going out. So if you want to buy me a coffee, if you're a Muslim, you know, if you want it, lads, and you want to buy me a beer, but it'll actually be a vodka, to be honest with you, vodka Diet Coke, so I'm trying to keep the sugar off. I've got to stick, you know, fine fit in that, guys, you know what I'm saying? Hit the super thanks button. It's a love heart under the video. And I'll give you a shout out in my next morning briefing, which should be tomorrow morning when I might be like, oh, right? But that's on my other YouTube channel, remember. My morning briefings and shout outs are on youtube.com/Duncan Oldham. Now, If you can't see that love art, don't think you can fucking just get out of it. No. In the link, not the link, in the video description, there's 3 links in there. 3 links, and they're instant, right? So, and YouTube don't get anything from that. So in theory, if you use the links in the video description, instead of the love art, I can get 1 extra drink. Look at it like that. Look, God likes a trier. I'm off. All right. My plan is to do another video like this tomorrow morning, but let's just see. I might be live on here tonight when I get in, like, hey, you know what I mean? Might be. I'm not sure. I was going to do Friday Night Frolics, but I'm not certain now. But I will be live on here this afternoon at 2 o'clock UK. Come along and see me. Anyway, seriously, guys, if you appreciate the video, please thumbs up, drop me a comment, and yeah, get me a beer. Well, that's up to you. All right, I appreciate you watching. Cheers.